Hello, welcome to Altering with Melly. I am Melly, and here today I'm going to be showing how to do a pant hem. Now with this one, it's going to be a little different. I have some jeggings and I have two different types of shoes that I want to wear with this. So I'm going to show you for the process what you can think about when you're wearing a tight fitted pant. This can also apply to leggings as well. I'm going to take it down here. We're going to look at the shoes and see what length we like. Alright, so far here is what's going on with the pant. So we're going to start off with some flat. Alright, now we've got the shoes. We've got the shoes, and also we're going to need some pins. Whenever you're doing a fitting for pants, you should always have them coming up this way. It's better than having it flipped up this way because it won't give you, it'll be a hassle in the long run. Okay, so for anything, for your pants, always make sure they're nice, pulled down enough. Not that you want to be like pulling it like this, but just so that it lays natural up at the top. So I would like to start hemming these around my ankles. So I'm going to find my ankle. I think it's about right there. So you're just going to pull up all the fabric, push it up underneath. And I'm going to lay my feet natural. Always look straight ahead. That's the length I'm going to start at. And do that on both sides. If you've had any injuries to your legs and or hips, always measure both sides. That is my ankle. I've had an injury on this side of my leg, not this one. My ankles over here look fatter because I have hardware in here. And then to pin it, just going to put a pin here. Like that. And a pin in the back. I'm just going to pin the back on this one. That is an okay basic length for any kind of skinny pant, jeans, skinny, any kind of, even leggings. That's a good starting length, I would say, but I'm going to go a little bit shorter. And again, I'm just pulling it down and checking because I'm reaching down and then I'm coming back up to check. These to be, and I also have boots. So I'm also wanting to wear these with boots. Whenever you wear anything with boots, your pant hem tends to, it'll be higher to look better. I'm gonna pin this in the back. There we go. That's what it looks like. All the way around. All right, let's try it with some boots. All right, excuse all of the salt on my boots. It is indeed winter time. So as you can see, for this length, it's kind of at an awkward state, but I like to always fold mine up a hem. So if I have it at this length and I fold it up, because you see it kind of just goes right at the top of the edge there. Now, if I were to just take these off, just for reference, to hem them up, it'd be super high. That's why some people have a pants for their boot season and pants for just the warmer season that they can wear it at. Okay, I'm gonna try another pair of boots that I wear a lot. Okay, so yeah. I also like the length of that as well. And again, we can see it based off of the length of, if I were to just have it hemmed where my other, if I were to have this hemmed at the length where my flat shoes are, just as like a comparison to, I think it looks nicer. So I'm going to take these off, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a middle of the road where I'm going to not be at this length. I'm not going to be at this length. I'm going to go somewhere in the middle where it's long enough so that I can just flip it up a little over a hem, which would be like 1.5 inches. Because like, so I like the look of those little cuffs. I will measure that on this leg. Now granted, I'm just eyeballing it. You can always just measure it too. I'm pinning it in the back. I'm going to take and Oh, well, it kind of looks like it's the same length, huh? Which is, again, why you have to measure both legs if you have an injury. Pick this up. And use that measurement to come all the way around. Do. Yep. All right, I think that'll be a good length to shorten it to. Alrighty, welcome to the table, and I'm going to show you real quickly how to get this hem all nice and even. What you'll want to do is you want to fold your front and your back like that. So you're going to have your back, and I'm going to flip it this way because I did right here. Okay, so I'm just going to take this and I'm going to mark with my pin. Here's my pants. Pull that out. See how short I am? All right, and then I'm just going to pin this in the back, and I'm just pinning the back. That's just how I was trained, to pin things in the back to get a better view. Okie dokie. So you'll need a rope and indeed some chalk. And now I'm going to measure this is my right leg. I'm going to measure the front and the back to make sure they're both even. That is 4.5 inches up in the back, 4.5 up in the front. All right, so that is that. I'm going to take that out since I know the measurement. That is the end measurement, or should I say that's where our hem is going to end. I'm also making sure that the side seams meet. Now I'm going to measure out 4.5 inches, and I'm just going to mark my chalk here. And I'm bringing you guys over here more. Sorry, I was actually wearing these pants today with some boots. So that's why that looks like that. Okay, and then before I make any other final, so this one is 4 inches. If your legs are, that's typically normal. If one leg is 1/2 inch shorter than the other, I'm just gonna try and keep it even on both sides. That I'm taking off 4.5 inches, matching my side seams, coming up 4.5 inches again, and I'm marking here. Now I'm doing these quick little marks, and I will show you why. We're going to match them up here, and we're going to match them up in the back. Okay, now to make everything go quicker, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to flip it up, I'm going to mark it like this, and then we're going to flip it up again. And this is a seamstress trick that you'll learn to make things move faster. All right, now pant hems are usually 1 inch long, so I'm going to measure 1 inch. I'm going down, I'm marking it, and now I'm going to cut on this line. Just double checking everybody is right. And it will always be thicker here with all 4 seams. That's a lot of fabric going on. And then yeah, from here you can go ahead and it's 1/2 inch and then 1/2 inch. I'm going to pin it in place. Now this is the outer seam. You're going to want to start on your inseam on both sides. So again, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. And you'll want to do that all the way around. Well, I would say really your 4 corners. So side seam in the middle, or your center seam. Go ahead and pin it. side seam again. This will be your outer seam, so go in whatever direction it wants to go in to make it easier when you sew it. And then also too, by the time you get here, you'll see that it'll naturally help you out and fall where it needs to fall. Now, to sew these and make it easier, you'll want to turn it, I have it right side out, you'll want to turn it inside out. And then, ow, whoops, watch your pins. And then I will meet you down here at the machine. All right, now down here at the machine, I recommend having a stitch length of 3.5, and also you'll want to have a thicker thread. But for this, I have a slightly thicker thread. But whatever thread that you have will work out for you for anything like jeggings and stuff, jeggings or leggings, because this the thread is typically thinner and not as thick as a jean hem. All right, so this is the inseam, the seam that goes in between, like where your crotch is on your legs. You're gonna want to start here, and we're gonna back tack. You'll want to have the thicker fabric on the top, and you'll want to watch and see that this is folded properly, because it should. And you should also see too, you see that little hump right there? You want that to be about right here. You see where the tip of my middle nail is? That's where you want that to be. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and start. And we're gonna start, and then we're gonna back tack, and we're just gonna go all the way around, being at that 1/2 inch mark right there. You see? All right, here we go. And with any kind of stretchy fabric that you have, any kind of, because again, these are like jeggings, especially leggings, you want to kind of pull. Don't go like this. We're not trying to stretch the pants out, but you want to give a little pull with it as you're sewing it around. That way, as you put the pant on, it will naturally like stretch too, because it is a stretchy fabric. That'll also give some room for the thread to move as well. Oh shoot. And if anything ever happens, like my thread and needle decided that it was just gonna break off, go back into your stitches, find where, go back a bit. You can kind of see I started stitching. The stitching is here, but I started back some way. Go ahead and go just one stitch. Go one stitch forward, one stitch back. Follow the stitches and stitch in them. So go ahead and keep going forward. That'll be fine. And then also, it's typically bad to run over your needles. Granted, many of us run over our needles, so do that at your own risk. Once we come back to the inner seam, you'll want to back tack again, and then you're done. You'll just come up in here and cut all your thread, and you'll also want to check and make sure that you caught all of your seams, because see, that was where that stitching was. Can't really tell that that's where we went in when my thread broke, and that's how you want it to look. You want it to look like nothing happened. Nothing ever happened. All right, we're gonna do the other leg, and we're gonna be done. There's another hem done. All right, and then here it is again. The final length. Too short for whenever. Okay, so here's this. Again, if I just want to flip that up, I do that on both sides to kind of give a better view of like, oh, that's what's going on. And then still keeping them folded up. That's how that looks. But if I bring them down to where they were hemmed, that's how they'll look. Not too bad, but they could just a little bit, boom, 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 boom. And thank you for joining. And you'll see kind of the difference as to why I was saying you should try it out with different shoes and how just at one hem length can kind of, it's not a one size fit all. So always make sure that whenever you're hemming up your pants, your jeggings, your leggings, that you take that into consideration. And I hope you enjoyed. Well, see you next time. Bye-bye.